What is the BRRRR method for real estate investing? That's BRRRR, 4 R's. Let's dive into it. Hey everybody, I'm Clayton Morris, back with another video here where we're talking about real estate investing. The whole purpose of this channel is to help you build passive income. We specifically talk about buy and hold investing. I'm the president of Morris Invest. I'm a longtime real estate investor. And one of the ways that I've been able to explode my rental portfolio is by using the BRRRR method. This term has become popular over the past few years, the BRRRR method. 4 R's. So what exactly does it stand for? It means buy, repair, rent, refinance, and then repeat. So buy, repair, rent, refinance, and repeat. I like to call it rinse and repeat, right? Once you go through this process, rinse and repeat. So buying the property. Now, the key to all of this, and we're going to walk through a couple of key steps here on how you can really maximize the BRRRR method. The bottom line is you're not paying market value for the house. You're not just calling up a realtor and finding out, oh, the house is worth $100,000. Let me pay $100,000. And then with closing costs, I'm paying $101,000 for this house. No. We want to find properties where we can add value, where we can also buy below market value, and where then when the banks look at us for a refinance, they're impressed with us because, wow, you just added to your net worth. You found a house that was below market value. You added some value to it by repairing it, and now it's worth more than what you bought it for. Of course. And then, of course, it's rented, so they're going to look at that property and say, of course, we'll give you money on a refinance, and you can go and repeat and buy another property. So that's the value of the BRRRR method. All right, let's start with the first step in this process, which is to buy the property. And so step one is to buy. Are you just calling up a realtor, paying over market value? No. So most people talk to you and say that the value of your rental property, the success that you have in any investment is on the buy, right? Even if you're buying stocks, buy it low, sell high. So that's what you want to do with real estate. Buy low and hold it for the rest of your life, but you're building up equity in order to leverage that equity to buy more rental properties. So on the first property, you really want to make sure you're buying it below market value. A lot of the properties I buy are well below market value, so that I'm able to add value to the house by rehabbing the house. So buying the property well below market value could be 10%, could be 20% below. It just really depends on the amount of rehab on the house. So if you buy it 20% below market value and it doesn't need much work, maybe paint, carpet, drywall, touch up, great. Then you're probably not going to spend that much money to get this house rehabbed and ready for rent. Now you own a property for 20% less than the market value. That means you paid 80%, right, of the market value, and you've now added value to this house by paint, carpet, and you've got it rented, and you're still coming out ahead of the game. So even in a worst case scenario, if you needed to sell that property, you could sell it for 90% of market value if you had to suddenly get your cash back out for some reason. So that's what I do with all of my properties. I'm making sure that I'm buying well below market value, I'm adding value to the house with a rehab, and then I'm going to cash out, refinance, either using a home equity line of credit strategy or some other great strategy that we talk about here on the channel. So on the buy, you want to make sure you buy first and buy smart with your rental property. Also, remember, if you're paying less for the house, then the refinance will enable you to get more money out of the property. So if you pay 80% of the market value, then your refinance, the bank may give you 80% loan to value of the house, means that basically all the money you just put into that house, you're basically going to get all of it back. So you can go and purchase another property. That's why we want to buy below market value. Because if you paid market value for that $100,000 house and the bank is only going to give you 80% loan to value, then you're only going to get $80,000 back out if you paid above market value. So don't pay above market value for the house. All right, let's talk about the repairs. So the first step is to buy, then to repair. What do we want to do in this property to have it repaired? Repairing a rental property is a tricky game. You do not want to spend more money than you need to on the repair of a property. Now, if you're flipping houses, which we don't talk about that here on the channel, that's not what we do. We don't flip houses. But if you're flipping houses, then of course you want to spend money on the granite countertops and all the lavish finishes. On a rental property, beware, you do not want to do that. You do not want to over upgrade and over repair your rental property. Think about it. The longer the amount of time it's taking you to rehab that property, cash flow is not coming in. You are not making money because you do not have a tenant in the property. So very often people, when they're first starting out, think that they want the house to look like the house they live in, right, with their kids and their family. No, 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 no. Why are you going to waste money? If you have a tenant that is ready to move in today, why are you futzing around about the way in which paint was taped on the bottom of a baseboard? Oh, we need to touch up that paint a little bit. It's a little bit misaligned with the tape around the baseboard. Are you crazy? No. Make sure the house is a rock solid place, and you want to spend your money on your repairs in the key areas, right? Your roof, your windows, furnace, water heater, electric, plumbing. Those are your main components and main mechanicals of your house. Once you take care of those systems are going to last you many, many years. Paint, drywall, carpet, those types of things can be replaced very quickly. Don't sweat the small stuff. So on your repairs, make sure that you're not overspending on your rehab. So the second step of the BRRRR method is repair, but you've got to be careful. Don't go crazy and don't spend more than you need to get that property cash flowing. You'd be crazy to do that. The third step in this is to refinance. Now that you've got the house rehabbed and it's rented, now you can approach a local bank. I would suggest using a local bank if this is a strategy that you want to employ. Local banks are way easier to work with, so stay away from those larger institutional banks like Wells Fargo and Bank of America. They can be great for other things, but for these local refinances, I'm telling you, I've had experience with this. The local banks are always better to work with. And look, they're competing against the big guys. So very often they're going to have great introductory rates for you in order to refinance, whether it's doing a home equity line of credit, pulling your money back out as a home equity line of credit to buy other properties, great. Or actually cash out refinancing the property. The point is you want to make contact with your local banks, talk about their investment, talk about the property, and let them know what your goals are in order to pull that money back out of that property on a refinance, because you want to use that money. Sometimes it's going to be 75% of the value of the house. Sometimes it's going to be 80% of the value of the house, and then you'll be able to roll that money into your next purchase. All right, we talked about the buying, we talked about the rehabbing, we talked about getting it rented as quickly as possible with a property management team or yourself, of course, and we talked about the refinance process in the BRRRR method. And the last step in the BRRRR method is to get it repeated. The whole point is not to just buy one property. The BRRRR method allows you to rinse and repeat. So get out there, pull that money back out. And now that you've identified an area, a targeted area, a market where you're looking to invest, go out there and take that strategy to the next step and buy your second and third rental properties. The point is that you want to keep sort of robbing Peter to pay Paul with this strategy. Once you get this one up and running, refinance it, pull the money right back out of it, and roll it into your next property. Let me tell you a quick little story of a friend of mine. His name is Abe. He lives in New Jersey. He owns many, many rental properties in the area locally here. He started with just one property. And over lunch, he described to me how he did it. He didn't have very much money. He had enough to do one property. He was able to do the down payment. He was able to get it rehabbed. He bought it below market value, and he got it rented. What did he do next? He refinanced. He pulled that money back out. Now that he added value to that house, he was able to almost get twice as much money as he put in. Guess what he did with it? He bought 2 properties next. And then he was able to pull that money out. Then he was able to buy 4. And on and on and on. He was able to go down the line and buy more and more properties. So now he owns close to 2,000 properties. He's a multimillionaire. He has a whole office staff. And it's remarkable. I mean, the guy's amazing. So, and he did that, he started about 8 years ago. It's a cautionary tale, right? It's amazing. That's what you can accomplish by using this strategy. That's what we're doing. That's what many of our investors that we work with do as well, the BRRRR strategy. So that's the BRRRR strategy in a nutshell. We have many other great videos here on the website, on the YouTube channel. So just click on different playlists here, different strategies to help you identify the neighborhoods where you can find your rental properties. Or if you don't want to do it yourself, we have a whole series of playlist videos on how to buy turnkey rental properties as well. Whatever you do, I want you to just go out there and take action and become a real estate investor. Oh, and by the way, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done that. We publish videos every week. I'm Clayton Morris. We'll see you back here next time, everyone.